How do Olympians train to be the best in the world, especially in a sport like karate? Hailing from Japan, the sport is known worldwide, and today, our new episode of Fightfinders, we are following around American Olympian Tom Scott. He is preparing for the 2025 United States National Championships. The mission of this episode of Fightfinders is to see how Olympians become Olympians. How do they train? How do they go out and become the best in the world to represent their country? Tom Scott has represented his country. He's been to Japan. He's represented the United States in karate. He's done it all. Let's see how he does it. This is episode 7 of Fightfinders, the Olympian, Tom Scott.
So if you guys remember back to the first episode of Fightfinders, we went to the Dominican Republic and followed around karate combat, which was cool, but I wanted to kind of get more of a sense of what true karate is like. I wanted to follow somebody around, and who better to follow around than the American Olympian, Captain America himself, Tom Scott.
We made our way down to Plano, Texas to the Academy of Classical Karate. There, Tom Scott and his team, his coaches, were so kind to invite us in to see what a day in the life of the Olympian is like. How does he train? How does he prepare? Tom Scott talks about his humble beginnings in karate.
Nobody starts karate because of the sport. Everybody starts karate, whether I was 8 years old and my mom put me in to build confidence, or the kids that I teach to build discipline, or for self-defense. And then they discover the sport and how fun it is, how fast it is, and they enjoy it.
So why Tom Scott? Why did I choose to do a video with him? I honestly, it was the accolades. You know, obviously he's the Olympian. He's got medals all around, Pan Am medals, national championships. I mean, I'd be here all day if I told you guys that everything that he accomplished. But what I think is the most important thing here is his message that he has for everybody. Tom Scott's not here to glorify himself. He's not here to make himself look better. He's here to compete, sure, but he also wants to inspire the next generation. And I think that is what makes him so special as an athlete and a karateka.
Now, as previously mentioned, Tom Scott managed to represent the United States in the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. This gave him the opportunity to show his sport to the world and bring his message on a higher level.
It was a celebration. Everybody was very excited to, it was our debut. And so everyone who's there, win, lose, whatever opportunity you had, we were excited. It was a victory for all of the past champions that never got their shot either.
And Tom Scott looks to pass his knowledge on to the future champions of the karate world.
You can make it faster if you hold the techniques back. So if you're gonna go, that's gonna take longer than just go,
Now, with all that hard work and all that dedication, he's also got to do some cool things like, go to the premiere of Karate Kid Legends and hang out with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan themselves. Like, that's gotta be a Karate Kid's dream, right?
It was cool. It was really cool. And I'll tell you, they are genuine people. Like, seeing Jackie Chan for an hour with a smile on, signing every kid's gi, taking selfies with their phones. I mean, he gave every person his absolute attention. I know he came from London, then he went to New York, and he went more in California.
Sport karate is completely different from anything we've covered on Fightfinders before. Think about it. We've gone through and done bare knuckle mixed martial arts, for crying out loud. What stood out to me the most was the fact that the whole team constantly drilled the basics from start to finish. They were looking to be better at the sport, and they weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. They were simply trying to make the wheel more efficient, and that they did well. Now, when I saw Tom Scott nail this sweep, I was like, yo, I got to know how to do that. So I asked the Olympian himself, hey, can you show me how to do that? He did. He took some time to show me, hey, this is how you do it. Now, pay attention to that because this is going to come into play later on.
Back here at the Fort Worth Convention Center where we're following around Tom Scott for Fightfinders 7.
We returned again to the Fort Worth Convention Center, somewhere we haven't been since 2023. If you remember back to Fightfinders episode 2, we followed around Team USA as they strove for a gold medal in Sanda. Now we step up to the tatami to see Tom Scott do what he does best. Now, all day when I was following around and watching Tom Scott at the convention center, I noticed that everyone came up to him and wanted to say, hey, it was a testament to what he's done for the sport. But what I really noticed was the amount of kids that came up to him and was so excited to see him like a superstar, like someone you'd see playing on Sunday in the NFL. Tom Scott meant that much to them. Michael Caine speaks to just that.
Well, we couldn't, as a federation, we couldn't have a better ambassador than Tom Scott. I mean, obviously, his fighting skill and level speaks for itself, but the way he represents us off the tatami is just as important on the tatami.
As the CEO of USA Karate, Caine is always looking for the next Tom Scott. Easier said than done.
For USNKF, I think continued sustained growth, right? And where is our next Tom Scott? Right, I joked with Tom, he's still a young guy, but he's an old man in our sport, right? And so Tom is helping us find the next young up-and-comer to replace him. And it may not be a he, it may be a she, but that next superstar is out there, and we need to find them and give them the support so they can obtain that same level of success that Tom has had.
After all of his warm-ups, the time was here. Tom Scott was to step onto the mat and prove once again to the world and to himself that he was still the best in the country. Despite him being to the Olympics and the World Championships, Tom Scott took the National Championships just as serious as any other tournament he would ever take part of. It's part of what makes him such a great competitor and such a great representative of USA Karate. It was time for match 1. It was apparent early on that Tom Scott had the speed advantage. His opponent, however, would be game. He had good coaches and a smart game plan. This alone would put Tom Scott behind early in the points. But Tom Scott wouldn't be denied. He didn't get down on himself. Instead, he would go back to what he drilled, what he practiced every day in the dojo. Did you catch that? You remember that sweep from earlier that we talked about? Yeah, that was it. Check it out again, side by side. He showed this to me. That's so cool. Despite being down early on the scorecards, Tom Scott roared back in a huge way. His first opponent suffered sweep after sweep, and Scott poured on the points. And just like that, he was on to the semifinals. The semifinals would be probably Tom Scott's hardest match of the day. Once again, he would fall behind on the scorecards. His opponent, like his last, came with a great game plan, and his coaches were fantastic. Tom Scott got into a deep, deep hole, and it looked like all was lost. But again, the common theme, Tom Scott doesn't give up on himself. He's been here before. He's dug himself out of these holes before. And as time began to expire, Tom Scott pulled off the Hail Mary. Less than 10 seconds left. He snuck the kick in. 3 points, put Tom Scott up and into the finals. Just because his last fight would be his hardest doesn't mean Tom Scott had an easy path to win the finals. Him and his opponent are teammates, and they are very familiar with each other. But Tom Scott managed to score. This punch right here had his opponent asking what happened. After the doctors took a look at him, they determined he was okay, thankfully. Tom Scott is always looking to the next generation, and after this fight, he said that he hoped that when his opponent did win this fight, if he won, Tom Scott was going to pick him up in celebration. 2 seconds left on the clock, and Scott managed to hold off his 1-point lead. He was once again a national champion. Down all 3 fights, sometimes down to the last second, Tom Scott managed to get it done. He felt great, he said. He was in fantastic spirits afterwards, and he's looking forward to the future of what USA Karate brings.
Yeah, I felt great in that I was able to stay calm in the pocket and obviously had some situations. So I was down in all 3 of my matches today, and so I like that the level of USA Karate is rising. I like that I can still keep a clear head and find the solution, even if it's at the very, very end. And so I had a blast. You know, this is what I want, is to welcome a challenge.
And his message, as we've talked about already, it's one that is inspiring to kids. And these kids, they look up to him, so he wants to let them know it's not always about winning and losing. It's about falling in love with what you do.
Medals are going to come and go. Wins and losses are going to come and go. But if you want to be a 10-year athlete, you know, just build your love for the sport. Have fun. Prioritize punching and kicking and enjoying that over winning.
Tom Scott got it done. He found a way to win the national championship again. And that's part of what he does. He just goes out and he tries to win. This was fun getting to come back to the convention center. You know, we're here for episode 2 and get to watch a different sport here. So thank you everybody who, you know, made this possible, and next time.